The Homeless Podcast deals with topics of a sensitive nature and is not intended for all audiences. At times, this podcast may include explicit language or adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Will a homeless sweep of an encampment under the 4th Avenue Bridge in Olympia happen or not? The plan was postponed a few months ago.
In September, we said it was the promise of action that saved Opie Taylor's home.
This place is a stable place for me. It's been my home since last September.
His home is the homeless encampment under the 4th Avenue Bridge in Olympia, which was scheduled to be swept clean. It was paused because First Christian Church stepped up to organize the camp and work with the city on a permanent solution. 2 months later, we went back to the camp.
How are things going with the 4th Avenue camp?
Feeling like we're running on a treadmill. It's giving us something to do, we're just not getting anywhere.
We caught up with Opie again, who's now been living in the camp for more than a year.
How does that compare to what the original plan was to sweep the camp?
That just shows me that the city is willing to work with us.
City officials believe the residents will have a home not under the bridge by the first of the year. 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 By the first of the year.
Welcome to the Homeless Podcast, Season 1, Episode 4, a podcast that tells the story of those that live on the fringe of society. If you haven't already subscribed, please take the time to do so on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, or wherever you may be listening right now. As you listen to these stories, please note that the opinions stated in the Homeless Podcast by guests do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Homeless Podcast itself. And if you haven't heard the first 3 episodes, please go back and do so. I know these stories and topics can be dark and are not the most pleasant realities to behold, but when we listen to that which makes us uncomfortable, we often grow. Your downloads, reposts, sharing, and inquiries have helped get these stories out. If you have any input, anything at all, please comment on the Homeless Facebook page at Homeless Pacific Northwest, that's Homeless PNW, or on the Homeless Instagram page at homeless_podcast. You can also send an email to homelesspodcast@yahoo.com. Please feel free to leave a review. Simply look for the Write a Review prompt. We'd love to hear from you. In the shadow of the Capitol building in Olympia, Washington, there lies a bridge. This bridge connects Western Olympian neighborhoods with downtown. And under that bridge, there is a neighborhood. A neighborhood with houses of canvas, condos of tarp, apartments of cardboard. In this neighborhood, you will find 18 to 25 residents chatting with each other, huddling around an oil drum with flames shooting upward, and passing around as much cheer, laughter, and conversation as can be mustered, and it isn't much. You'll find the leader of the pack, the captain of the squad, the godfather of the streets. His name is Opie. I first noticed Opie on video in a recording city council meeting that was open to the public and where this particular neighborhood was being considered for complete destruction and clearing out. Opie stood in front of the council, was a ball of nerves, pleaded his case, and sat down after a few moments. I watched this video on the Olympia Facebook page and decided to scroll through the comments.
He is helping whom exactly? He said himself before he doesn't want to use the Salvation Army or the sanctioned camps, but now he is whining that the city council is not helping him, okay? Get him out of here and put him on a bus, send him far away. Fuck that guy. How about not being a piece of shit and get a job?
132 comments, mostly angry. I will agree that it is aggravating to see tent cities everywhere and homeless wandering the streets of Olympia day and night, but this is the world we live in currently. The world where you can say practically anything online in a tweet or post, which is so much easier than face-to-face. Speak your mind and swipe away. I knew when I saw this video that I needed to talk to Opie. I wanted to hear his story. I wanted to know what he meant when he said the following to the city council. Quote, "I've got people now under that bridge that want to get off narcotics. I have people that are just looking for an address so we can get back on our feet. I'm looking for a hand up and a handout and a step up. So are the people that I'm helping." End quote. Rest assured, we will also hear from the City Council in the very near future, but for now, I wanted to talk to Opie. I was able to locate him and invite him to lunch. He said he wants a handout, and I want to know exactly what he means by this. And I'm sure the Facebook page commenters want an explanation too, unless they have scrolled on to the next topic. And so we met on a cold and wet day over a few bowls of hot steaming borscht. I didn't know what was coming, but I knew it would at least shed some light on who he is and what is happening under the 4th Avenue Bridge. Maybe getting Opie's story out there would change angry hearts to empathetic hearts. Then again, maybe not. Regardless, this is Opie.
When I was a kid, from about 10 years old until I turned 16, I was living on a mountain. 10 miles outside of town, really not around anybody. And when I turned 16, I met my neighbor that told me her son went to Job Corps. So I decided to go to Job Corps, and I graduated machine shop, welding, and auto body mechanics. So, I do have my knowledge. And
Did you get a high school degree with that?
yeah, I got my GED.
Okay. Have you been able to do anything in that field at all, or did you for a while?
Well, shortly after I got out of Job Corps, September 11th.
That day?
Well, I got home my birthday was August 5th.
Okay.
I got out of the Army, or I got out of Job Corps around my birthday, and I was waiting to get ready for roofing supplies to fix my dad's roof. The high winds in Livingston, Montana just peeled the trailer like a sardine can.
Oh, man.
So we were waiting on supplies, and it showed up. Well, my mom calls me from inside, and it's Twin Towers went down. So later on that year, I went into the Army.
Wow.
I was a parachute rigger in the U.S. Airborne.
So you were airborne. Did you after 9/11 happened? Is that when you signed up?
Yeah.
How long were you in the forces for?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. Okay. And you said you did parachute training?
Parachute rigger. I was the one.
Okay.
I was the one that fixed the parachutes, rigged up the parachutes, rigged up the loads to drop. Basically everything that has to do with airborne.
Okay. I bet you met some people with some incredible stories.
Incredible jumps.
Yeah. So you were in that. You did that for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Isn't 2.5 years? So were you enlisted, or were you?
I was enlisted.
Mm-hmm.
Stationed in Fort Richardson, Alaska.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, one of my problems was I got into a drinking binge.
Okay.
I was drinking a bottle of Jack Daniels, about a fifth every night. My very last jump, we're having a celebratory drink. My friend brings out Jose Cuervo. So, yeah, that was the end of my career. I ended up passed out. My best friend at the time scooped me up out of the toilet, hauled me up 3 flights of stairs, laid me on my bed, and was expecting the door to close behind him, and it didn't. My sergeant was standing behind him going, "He's drunk, isn't he?" He had to do his bit. He had to say yes. And
Right. So you get discharged after that?
under honorable conditions.
So what happened after that?
9 months after that, I'm sitting at home watching TV, watching The Price is Right, and I watch a report from Baghdad Airport. That Baghdad Airport got raided.
Right.
Well, they had it on they had the actual base on national TV, and I watched a building explode. Well, it was the rigger shed. My entire rigger team was inside of it.
Oh, jeez. So you knew them all?
Each and every one of them. So...
How'd that hit you?
I went into a self-destructive phase.
Did you?
Yes.
I think it's fair to say, after what we've heard, Opie already was in a self-destructive phase. This was just the next step in sliding down into the black hole of even more self-destruction.
After that, I decided I was going to go into truck driving, try and forget everything, and my brother introduced me to meth. So I went through a 7-year meth addiction.
Were you still in Alaska during that?
No, I was in Arizona.
You were in Arizona?
Phoenix.
Were you living in a home there, or were you...
An apartment. I started out in an apartment with my parents because they were truck drivers. They were always gone. Okay. So, and then we moved into a house, and the meth addiction just got worse. And then I finally ended up in Apache Junction, Arizona, in a little tiny camp trailer, 30-foot camp trailer.
Right next to Goldfield, right?
Yo.
I know the place.
Yo.
Really well. Yeah.
In that time, it hit me about April 1st, 10 years ago, and I walked out. I said no more, threw my pickle down on the ground, and I took a first Greyhound I could get out. So.
Up to here?
No, Missouri.
To Missouri?
Mm-hmm. I had a friend in Missouri.
Okay.
I told him my situation. He's like, yeah, you're more than welcome, you know.
Awesome.
We went to school together, and he's like, yeah, come on, anything you need. So I got off meth. Well, not even a month later, I met my now ex, now my baby mama.
Sure.
I had a good 8-9 years with her, and I started realizing that my opinion didn't matter, and she was getting emotionally and verbally abusive towards me. So, well, I'm not any, saint either, but I just knew it was not gonna last between us, and somebody was gonna get hurt. So I got kicked out, and spent about 4 days in
Aberdeen, Washington. I'll take a quick pause here to remind listeners about Aberdeen. I briefly talked about the city in episode 1, and I want to remind you, in case you haven't been there, that it is a dark old logging town just an hour's drive west of Olympia. If you look at a map of Washington state, you'll see on the west coast, about midway up, a very large harbor. This is Gray's Harbor. Aberdeen sits on the east side of the harbor, acting as a gateway to the towns of Westport and Ocean Shores, a touristy little kitschy town that is beautiful year-round. Aberdeen was hit hard during the Great Depression, which saw the number of major local sawmills reduced from 37 to 9. By the late 1970s, most of the surrounding areas had been logged. Most of the mills had closed down by the early 1980s, and unemployment in the area skyrocketed. The homeless epidemic in Aberdeen is critical, and as I pass through weekly on my way to Westport, I see homeless on a majority of street corners. Aberdeen is the hometown of Kurt Cobain, the late lead singer and guitar player of Nirvana, a band many call one of the founding bands of grunge. You may recall that he was found dead in April of 1994 from a supposed self-inflicted gunshot, with a suicide note by his side. I have my own skeptical opinion about that, but I won't dive into it here. That's for a whole different podcast. We'll be right back. Did you know that socks are the #1 most requested clothing item in homeless shelters? Well, Bombas is on a mission to change that. They created the most comfortable socks in the history of feet, and for every pair of socks purchased, Bombas donates a pair to someone in need. Designed with special comfort innovations, colors, patterns, lengths, and styles, Bombas are perfect for the whole family. Get your hands on a pair of Bombas socks, and your feet will thank you. Bombas has donated over 20 million pairs and counting. They're made from super soft natural cotton, and every pair is designed with arch support, a seamless toe, and a cushioned footbed that's supportive but not too thick. My new favorites are the new merino wool socks, designed to be breathable, dry, and never itchy, with just the right amount of thickness. With tons of different colors, patterns, lengths, and styles, Bombas socks also make the perfect gift for anyone on your list. I wear them every day, and I have to say, I'm in love with how they feel. Anyone that knows me knows that I have a bit of a sock and shoe addiction, but sometimes the greatest look doesn't always go hand in hand with the greatest fit or feel, especially those socks that creep down into your shoe. I hate that feeling. With Bombas socks, you are sure to get an incredible experience in both fit, feel, and look. And the best part, for every pair you buy, you are supporting the Bombas mission in providing socks for those in need. Now that is a mission I can get behind, and I know you will too. Save 20% on your first purchase when you shop at bombas.com/homelesspod. That's bombas.com/homelesspod to save 20%. bombas.com/homelesspod. Let's get back to Opie's story.
Back to that town again.
What took you to Aberdeen? Why Aberdeen?
Because I was in Westport.
You're in Westport. Okay.
So my wife kicked me out.
So you met her in Missouri, then you guys moved to Westport?
Well, it took some time, but yeah.
Okay. That's the gist of it, yeah.
Yeah. Went from Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, to Utah, from Utah to Washington.
Okay.
And then from Washington to Texas, Colorado, and then Montana.
How would you travel? Like, what means would you get there by?
We had, when I was with my now ex-wife, we had a car, a truck. At one point we had a Suburban.
Yeah.
But.
And you had a kid, you said?
Yeah, I have 2 kids now.
2 kids, okay.
Yeah. And those are the best things I've ever done.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Do they live with you right now, or are they?
No, I wouldn't. I live under the 4th Avenue Bridge. I wouldn't put them through that.
Right. Yeah, I want to ask you about that in a little bit, about 4th Avenue. So you were in Aberdeen for 4 days. And why'd you come to Olympia?
Just the darkness of Aberdeen.
Okay.
Is, dealing with, like, the white supremacists hanging out behind the Walmart, and then you have
really
just nothing but meth addicts, and it's like, I don't need to be around this, you know.
And were you sober then, too? Yeah. Do you mind me asking, are you sober now?
I'm still clean.
Oh, right on.
10 and a half years clean.
10 and a half years clean.
April 1st will be 11 years.
Congratulations. That's fantastic.
Which also helps around here because people go, oh, you've been clean for that long? How do you do that?
Yeah.
I got people now that are also getting clean.
Awesome. So now you camp or you live under the 4th Ave Bridge,
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. They just want it cleared out because the mistake by the lake is calling it scenic views on 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're gonna lose money if they have to look at the 4th Avenue Bridge the way it used to look. It's improved somewhat, but I'm still cleaning it out.
Right. You said you're cleaning it out, so you've kind of taken on this. Well, you've taken on this leadership role there, haven't you?
Yes, actually, I've just been appointed president of the 4th Avenue Bridge.
Okay.
I work with Just Housing. I work with Growl, and a lot of organizations around here.
Okay.
So, I'm not the only one in this fight, but
yeah, of course not. So, what do you see those organizations doing to help right now?
Everything they can. Even, Just Housing helps above and beyond what they should, They have a thing called Mutual Aid Monday. They come out to the bridge every Monday, feed us, give us supplies. And
okay. What kind of supplies?
Like batteries, clothes, food.
Right.
So, basic necessities, pads for women.
Sure.
Everything we need, basically.
How many people live under the 4th Ave Bridge right
Right now, in total, 14.
So, as president of the organization, what are your responsibilities mostly?
Making sure it stays clean.
Okay.
And, you know, like up there's not even supposed to be any kind of dealing.
Okay.
As of now, the
what is it like there? What's the environment like? How are people feeling about it?
You know, there's two types of people, all right? There's people that fall off the bridge, and then there's people that jump off the bridge.
Yeah.
Well, if you help the people that fall off the bridge, all the ones that are jumping off will see that, oh, there is help out here. And then they'll try and help getting them to stop jumping off that bridge. One of the kids up there, he's a big time meth user. He got to the point yesterday where a lady that, there's a word I'm trying to find, enables him.
Okay.
Every time she shows up, she needs him to do this for her, and she'll get him a hit. Well, yesterday, he said, no, I'm done. I'm not helping you anymore. Go away.
Yeah.
And that made me proud, you know.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You know, he's also into heroin, and he's going into a Suboxone clinic. You know, he's actually showing that, yeah, he wants help. He needs to get out of here. You know, there's a fine line between life and death, and that drug just makes that line even thinner.
So you have till the 27th. So that's...
As far as I am understanding, that is not the case.
Okay.
So...
Can you just walk me through like a day, what it's like living under the bridge there?
With not so many people underneath there, it's really changed a lot. You know, we still get some of the heavy users up under there thinking, yeah, they still sell stuff underneath here, which, you know, I'll keep telling them until my face is blue that no, you cannot buy that stuff up here. You know,
How do they respond to that?
a lot of them have an attitude until they realize that who's talking to them. And
So you kind of consider yourself the muscle under the bridge? You're the muscle?
yeah, I'm the scariest thing under the bridge.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Do the cops come by often? Check on stuff?
Not as often as they used to. When we started this in the beginning, cops would show up and they would come in a force of like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
You know, that was back when it was really bad. It was horrible under there. You could buy anything you wanted, and you wouldn't even have to go 10 feet into the bridge. And now,
just right there.
Yeah,
For
it was
anybody.
all over the place up there.
Yeah.
And the worst part of it was, the lady that was supposed to be our president was the biggest dealer under there.
Okay.
And it was bad. It was horrible.
Do you think it's because you've been made president that it's kind of gotten better, if you will?
Well, it took a lot of work. You know, like I said, I'm not the only one that did a lot of the fight. Elvis, another guy that was up underneath the bridge, also did a lot of work. He's off with his wife and doing what he needs to do.
Okay. Is your wife, are you still with her, or are you? No, she's gone.
She's living in Illinois.
Okay. With kids?
Yes.
Okay. And how often do you get to see them, or do you?
Last time I saw them was last year.
Last year.
Yeah. Actually, Christmas of 2 years ago.
Can I ask how old they are?
10 and 8 and 9, actually.
8 and 9.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're in Illinois with her.
Yeah.
Are they in a home right now, or are they?
Yes.
Okay.
As far as I understood, they're in probably an apartment.
Okay. So they have shelter.
Yeah. So.
Is that encouraging to you, or is it?
That's letting me know that, yeah, they're safe.
Yeah.
When I got here, I realized how much trouble this town's in, and I'm doing my best I can to help people that really do need the help. You know, the people that know they need the help.
Yeah.
and the people that don't quite know yet they need the help. You know.
What do you do when you see somebody who, let's say, because I'll see it every now and then, like an 18-year-old person who's just ran away from home, has a place to go, doesn't go there. Because I see that around here a lot too.
I do too.
What do you do with that, or do you do anything, or?
Around here, I am actually considered a street dad.
Street dad.
No. And I have a lot of kids under my wing that, you know, I have kids that, when the well was open, I had a bunch of kids out there, and I was watching over them and the well, and well, a lot of those kids now are in houses, have jobs, and are on a good path in life. In fact, I was one of the best men at a couple I introduced. There was two of my kids I introduced to each other, and I was one of the best men. And that made me, so proud, because, you know, it was touching, because these kids were on the streets. You know, I guide them along, going, hey, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to get off the streets. And they followed what I was saying, and now they're off the streets and with the kid, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm a proud grandpa, you know.
That's fantastic. As Opie talks about the kids that he has helped off the streets and recalls being the best man in a wedding ceremony for one of them, I notice he gets a bit emotional. He truly is proud of this fact, and it has definitely made a major impact on him. I can't help but wonder if he is thinking about his own children that are with his ex-wife back in Illinois. He hasn't heard from them in 2 years, and I can't imagine going that long without talking to my immediate family. So what do you think is the biggest problem facing right now for the people that are living in under the bridge with you?
A lot of the problem is there's just no in-between, all right? I have a couple up underneath there that they're waiting for their place, but they don't want to go to a homeless shelter and have a chance of getting scabies, body lice, you know, dealing with mold, dealing with people spun out of their heads, people that are so doped up that they don't know what the hell they're doing.
Right.
And I don't blame them. That's why I never went into a homeless shelter.
Okay.
I've been in a homeless shelter, and
Is that the Aberdeen shelter?
Yeah, that's the Aberdeen shelter.
Okay, I know that one. It's right off the freeway that takes you out to Westport.
Yeah.
I know that one, yeah.
Yeah, I've been out there. I stayed out there for 4 days, and that was enough for me. Never go back to another homeless shelter.
What's the problem you think shelters are facing the most?
Not having enough beds, and like I said, scabies, body lice.
Right.
They're easy to spread. It's a sad fact in life that they really have no clean place. So that's where I come in. You know?
Yeah.
I'm working with the First Christian Church. Sorry, I can't. I'm working with the First Christian Church on getting a tiny home community.
Okay.
You know, kind of a sliding scale payment. You know, a lot of people can't pay rent because they get $7.95 a month, and a lot of rents like $900, $1,000,
or more.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So they really have no in between. You know, I got people out here that get the $7.95 a month and still homeless because they can't afford rent. So we're looking to open a small, tiny house community where you can pay rent, $200 to $250 a month, and it's your own space. It's your own house.
Yeah.
It's an address you can work from. It's a, you know.
You can use the address for your applications for jobs.
Yeah. That too, you know. Yeah. That's one of the biggest things about jobs out here is you need an address to get a job.
Right. You can't say under 4th Ave Bridge.
No.
You can't say shelter down the road or
No.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people have judgment of, oh, you're in the you're in the Salvation Army or the Union Gospel Mission,
Yeah.
it's a lot of judgment.
What do you think causes the judgment?
Judgment of the, for the rest of the bad apples of the group, all the other drug dealers and druggies and the people that need the help that don't realize they need the help,
Right.
which is a big thing out here. A lot of people are, the only reason they're on drugs is because they have no stable place. They want to get away from it, so they leave it mentally. And they leave their brain in the process.
Let's say that I walked to your encampment. Is that a good name to call it? Encampment? Is that okay, or what do you call it? Neighborhood?
Our neighborhood.
Neighborhood. Okay. Let's say I walk into your neighborhood.
Okay.
And I have nowhere to go, nothing on my back. What as president? What do you do for someone like me?
If I have a spare tent, you're more than welcome to it. I will help you get blankets. I will help any way I can.
Have you ever had that backfire on you before?
Yeah, there people just looking to get high in their own place and find a place to go get high. And, you come to me, you look me straight in the eyes, and you say you need help. I will help you with everything I can.
Yeah.
It's sad because there's a fine line between home housed and home houseless. Like there's a bus driver I talked to the other day. He looked at me and says, I've been following you for a bit, and good on you.
Yeah.
Because he lives with his family. His kids live in his house, and he's only 3 paychecks away from being homeless. I mean, that's sad when a city bus driver says, I'm only 3 checks from being homeless.
Yeah.
And they get $20 an hour.
Yeah.
It takes $36 an hour just to semi-live comfortably in this state.
Right.
It needs to change.
So you're here. What are your? Do you have future plans? Do you have any idea of what you want to do? Or
Yeah. Actually, that's also part of the whole plan I have for the homeless.
Okay.
If you're gonna have, you have homeless people that are able to do things. Like me, I'm a machinist, mechanic, welder. Why not have a homeless community that has a garage on it, a welding shop on it, an electronics shop on it, electronics repair. I have a guy right now that can repair just about every electronic I can ever get them. It's awesome.
That's great.
If I need something fixed, I'm like, hey, here, can you fix this for me? He's like, yeah, no problem. Come back later that day, and it's in perfect working order.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So how can we go about getting something like that to happen?
it's always a good start is find people willing to work with you. I have the Concerned Clergy. I have the First Christian Church, which has been awesome. We're working on the process. We're working on getting the backing. We're working on getting the city to start, give us a space to start out with, just to show them. But they're so scared because all the other people that they've had to deal with are heavy drug users. Well, everybody that we've kicked out from underneath the bridge went into the mitigation site.
Okay.
So where do you think all the drugs went into?
Into the city-run site.
Yeah.
Got it.
And if you want to make a sale up there, all you have to do is walk up with $20 and say, anybody got anything? They'll take you in the office up there, and they'll deal to you. But you're not supposed to deal in there.
But it's happening?
All too well.
Are the
All
cops
too
up there
much.
too, or are they?
They'll call the cops for a overdose, but that's about it.
Yeah. So in the news, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, I saw that somebody died just over here off of, what was it, off the Chutes or was it off?
Yeah, it was Crazy Jay.
So you know
Crazy Jay? Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen him around. He was on his own flail. He was on his own light.
Okay.
Not a bad guy.
Yeah.
But he just took a wrong turn and got across some bad people.
Was he killed or was it overdose or?
Gunshots.
Gunshots.
2 to the head, 2 to the chest, 1 to the head.
Okay. Was he an older guy or a younger guy?
I think he was a little bit younger. I'm 36, so
Okay.
I know he was younger than me.
Yeah. Okay.
Another one died was Kentucky Ray. He died of an overdose.
An overdose. So you know a lot of these people.
I do.
As we sit there listening to Bob Dylan in the background and his dulcet tones take over us, I can't help but think that these are the moments where homelessness really hits you.
The one that died the most recent, Kentucky Ray, he does his hard drugs because he has mental issues. It was a lot of stress in his life, and it was the one thing that he could do to keep himself level. You know. Yeah, I can't judge everybody.
Right.
You know.
I was sitting, I was having coffee earlier today, and I overheard somebody who was next to me, and I think she works. I was kind of eavesdropping a little bit because she was talking to somebody else, and she was talking about the amount of homeless people. It's one or the other usually. It's either people that have a mental illness or people that have an substance abuse problem. Is that
wrong?
That's wrong. Yeah, I want to get your perspective on that.
That's the most bullshit.
That's fine. Go for it.
That's the most bullshit I've ever heard. All right,
Okay.
A lot of people have that misconstrued view of things because, like I said, there's a lot of people out here that are homeless because they've lost their job. That something happened. There's a lady out here that's homeless because she was in a car accident. She had a compound fracture on her right leg, and she can't sit, she can't stand, and she can't even get a job. And disabilities turned her down for as many times as she's gone for it. You know, and she can't.
Now.
Yeah, she's homeless. She has no place to go because, oh well, you can't do this, you can't do that. No. Get a job. Well, she can't.
Yeah.
So
Is she in your neighborhood or is she? Yeah.
She's actually my girlfriend.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Me, I have some stuff I have to take care of with family in Utah.
Yeah. So you need to head back down.
Well, yeah.
Eventually, yeah. What all right, so if somebody's listening to this podcast and they want to know, all right, I've heard these stories, what can I do? What would you say to them?
Have a little bit more understanding.
More understanding?
You know, put yourself living in my position, all right? I'm not doing drugs. I used to work for the Carpenters Union. I worked for the temp service. I worked for all this. And I still work. I even work for people that have cars that can't afford shops, you know. People that, like one guy that, he's a pretty good guy. He's just misunderstood because he was in the system. Well, because he was in the system, nobody's going to help him.
It doesn't matter. It's
He's
on his
been
record,
out.
right?
It's on his record. He's been out. He hasn't done anything for 15 years.
Okay.
And he's still in the system. Now, normally in the system, you're only supposed to be there for 8 to 10 years. He's been there for 15 because the system is just screwing him over. I hear about it every day that somebody drives by that doesn't agree that we're underneath the bridge and that thinks we're all druggies. Well, let me show you what's on.
At this point, Opie takes off his sweater and starts rolling up the sleeves to his shirt to show me his inner arms.
The one thing I'm very proud of is, does this look like somebody that's touched dirt to their veins?
I see nothing, man. I see no track marks. I see nothing.
I've been called the vampire's best friend. The only needles that ever touch these are plasma donation.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And that's right there.
Yeah.
And I got one on this arm too.
Yeah. Everybody's had blood drawn at one point or another.
Yeah. And show me I'm a druggie. Go ahead, please.
I can't. Absolutely can't.
You know, granted, I have no teeth because I used to smoke meth. Well, look in my eyes. Do you see a druggie? It's just ridiculous.
So people just need to know.
Yeah, people need to quit judging and help fixing.
Yeah. A lot of people will say, well, I give every month to this organization or that organization. Is that a help too, do you think? Or
Well, yeah, it does. I mean, it helps somewhere. It, I don't only expect, help for the homeless in Olympia, help everybody. Help, if you don't help somebody at least once or twice a day, what's the point of life?
Yeah.
I help people every day. And I don't have anything to give.
Yeah.
But I still have something. People either like me or fear me in this town, and I'm a small town Montana country boy. Really?
Yeah.
You're gonna fear me?
Born in Little Montana.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Well, when I saw you speaking at the city council, I was going through Facebook and like, oh, what's this? And it popped up.
I was nervous.
Were you?
Yeah.
Those are always nervous things to talk in front of.
Sitting there, standing in front of everybody, and you're going.
Yeah, and they're videoing you, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you got to say what you wanted to say at that?
I got to say part of what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
If they'd have gave me about 30 more seconds, I'd have finished what I was saying.
Can you repeat for us, or for me?
I can't really remember what I said.
That's all right.
Because, like I
gist
said,
of it, maybe.
Basically, why are you guys backing out of what you've already promised?
Yeah.
I have friends that are I have friends on the city council. Okay. Renata, I don't know if you want to put all these names.
I don't know.
I have friends on the city council, and they didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah.
And it was ridiculous because I know exactly who's doing it. It's the same person that's been voting against us this entire time.
Yeah. So you've spoken up before?
Yes.
This isn't the first time?
No.
What was the first time you spoke up? What was that about?
The first time they were going to sweep the bridge.
Okay.
It was funny because after I spoke, one of the council members stood up or took the mic for a minute and proposed that they don't sweep the 4th Avenue Bridge until everybody has a place to go. And I was like,
where do I go?
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was a 5-1 vote. 5-4, 1 against. It said, fix the problem, stop judging the problem. And it's something I've heard since I was a kid,
I like that.
You can sit there and judge a problem all you want, it's still not going to get fixed.
Yeah. Interesting. And you feel like the rest of the council's supporting you and your neighbors?
Up until we got the 2 new city council members, I still have yet to meet them. So I'm looking forward to meeting them. I really want to meet them.
Yeah.
And with all the other city council members that I know, or always speak highly of it.
Yeah.
I'm not a bullshitter. I'm not gonna bullshit no one. I'm just gonna tell you straight up how it is. No sense in sugarcoating it.
Yeah.
Just because you got rid of the biggest drug dealer underneath the bridge, thank you, by the way.
Yeah. Didn't solve the problem.
Didn't solve your problem. You have the choice of, you can be on it or you can get off of it. If you want to get off of it, there is help out there. But if you don't take the help, you're just jumping right off that bridge. You're going to keep doing it until that little thin line you have on life separates.
Right. So what do you think someone like me can do? What could I do?
To show you support. Just, If somebody is out there, hey, judging whoever's homeless, hey, just look at them and say, put yourself in their shoes. You want a safe place, but they have no safe place. They want to get away from it. They just want something to make them feel better, and that's why they go to drugs.
But that center isn't a shelter. People can't stay there, can they? Or can they?
They're being turned away, actually.
Being turned away.
They're trying to keep as many tent spaces open for the people under the bridge.
Okay.
So they can say that, oh yeah, we got a place for you.
Got it.
And
I get it.
yeah. It's ridiculous because they're turning people away. They're turning people away every day that could use the mitigation site. But, you still get your stuff stolen. You're in a tent with no covering, nothing hard over your tent. So any snow or rain, you're gonna get it right in your tent.
Right.
Where the 4th Avenue Bridge, it keeps the weather out, it keeps the snow off you, it keeps, keeps you dry.
Can I ask you another question? I just thought of this. So you were in the military for a couple of years, a little over a couple of years. Have you met many other veterans?
Yes, actually.
I was going to ask about that because I have yet to talk to somebody who's been a veteran, and I'd love to just get their story and understand.
Eldest, actually. He's a guy from Alabama. Came from Florida with his wife. He's been a veteran for 13 years.
Okay.
It's amazing the people you meet out here.
Yeah.
Right now, the church, the First Christian Church and the 4th Avenue Bridge are looking for a piece of property. That's all we're looking for. And we want to start a homeless community of small houses.
Yeah.
The lottery system is one system that it's flawed. It's gonna fail.
If the lottery system doesn't work, what system do you think would work for people to be able to get into a tiny home community?
If somebody is willing to, if somebody knows they need help and is willing to go, you can only help somebody so much. They want to be helped. Give them the help they need. With this lottery system, you have homeless people. You'll have homeless people because of the lottery system.
Right.
Section 8's a lottery system.
Yes.
That's a ridiculous fucking idea. Quit the lottery. You want to go play lottery, go play the Washington State Lottery. I'll guarantee you'll win a lot more money.
Yeah.
The homeless situation is not a lottery system. It's a help system. It's a ridiculous lottery to fix a real problem. That's how I see it.
That's good. That's in line with a lot of things I've heard. So it breaks my heart too is when I see, like a family with little kids, and that's heartbreaking.
Horrible.
That's the one that gets me.
The biggest one is people are people.
Yeah.
People are not commodities. People are not diseases. People are, there's a lot of people out here that don't even know don't even know me, and are quick to look at me like I'm a diseased human being. I've taken STD tests. I've taken disease tests. I'm clean. I probably have the best immune system anybody's ever seen.
Right.
The only thing I get hit with is maybe a cold.
Right.
But I'm diseased because I'm homeless. And it's judgment. People just need to quit judging the problem.
I'm diseased because I'm homeless, and it's judgment. People just need to quit judging the problem. To sit in a warm cafe, eating a bowl of Russian borscht, sipping on a couple of lemon-lime soft drinks, having a chat with a great human being, and feeling both troubled and hopeful at the same time. That was my time with Opie. I use fake names for guests on this podcast, but Opie asked that I use his real name. He wants his personal story out there. He wants people to know that not all homeless have mental illnesses or are drug abusers. He knows, in his heart of hearts, that his mission in life is to help anyone that asks for it. He has taken ownership of the camp under the 4th Avenue Bridge, and he is working with the local church and other organizations to find a direction for the lives that he guides, the souls he helps, and the spirits he reaches out to. Opie is what we should all strive to be, a person without judgment and holding humility. He owns his mistakes, he owns his struggles, and he owns his predicament. His life journey has been difficult from the beginning, but his compass is still pointing north toward redemption, reconciliation, and arrival. Who knows what that arrival will be, but one thing is clear: Opie is ready for it. Since my afternoon with Opie, I have reached out to a few of the city council members in order to hear from their side what is being done about the homeless situation, in particular, the 4th Avenue Bridge neighborhood. I have yet to hear back. The Drug Addiction Hotline offers information on addiction and free referral services in both English and Spanish 24 hours a day. If you or someone you know needs help, please call 1-800-662-HELP. That's 1-800-662-4357. Thanks for listening. See you in 2 weeks, and until then, don't look away.